So I'm very grateful to be able to introduce our speaker today, Scott Sunderland. He has truly a mind-blowing story of somebody who at one point in his life couldn't walk, um, but he just convinced himself that he was not a body, that he was greater than his own body. And he worked himself back into, being a fully functioning, incredible, inspiring human being. But there's a video that we're gonna show that kind of tells the story better than I could ever say it. So I'm gonna play that. We don't do this too often, so just if somebody could give me a thumbs up that they can see my screen right now. Is it coming through? All right, awesome.
What you need when
Wow, that was truly incredible. I'm gonna try to now stop the share screen. Um, Stop share. All right, awesome. I can't even believe that we're lucky enough to have Scott here with us today. Thank you, brother, for joining us, man, and welcome to the Quantum Healing Collective. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and also thank you, Sam Machado, for finding us, Scott and M. Hollis. So take the
Thank
mic.
you, man, so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that still gets me. I see that, and it's, I remember who that person was. I'm not that person now, but I definitely remember who that person was. So, yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome. So cool.
Yeah, if you just want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you healed up and everything.
Yeah, sure. Like even in, so really the best way to tell it is how the story goes in the video. You know, I own a construction company, I still do. And I was just, before this all went down, I was really just overworked, overstressed, just knew I wasn't doing what I was meant to do, really felt disconnected. I kind of always had that spiritual background. I was brought up by a very spiritual mother. And the more I went down that road of the disconnection, and I was all aware of Deepak and Dr. Wayne Dyer and you know, Anthony Robbins, and so into that for like 2 months or 3 months straight. And then I would fall off the wagon and I would become Scott. And I would just be all about get out there, get jobs done, make money, you know, build a life of him. And I was working away from home. I build, you know, I still do build retail stores. And I was working like 18-hour days. I was really sick with fevers, like 105 fevers. And I just kept going. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was like an Ironman. And all I kept thinking of is all the stress I was under, all the people that were screaming in my ear, you know, you got to get this done. And I was afraid that they weren't going to pay me and all, you know, all the things that we do, right? Everything our mind traps us into believing. And I just started really thinking, all I want to do, I just want to go home and I just want to lay in bed. And I just want all this to go away. I want all the issues to go, all the problems to go, all the people to go, all of the jobs to go. I just wanted to be free from it, but I was trapped. But in reality, I was just trapped in my mind. And then finished the jobs out, got better, and 3 months later, all of a sudden, started to feel it, started to get dizzy, started to feel like this numbness in my mouth and in my feet. And within 2 days, I was laying in that bed, and no one really knew what it was. You know, at first they thought it was MS, and I'm just like, can't live with that. Check me out. I have a friend who has it, and I don't want to live with that. And then they told me what it was after about 2 weeks, and I just started on the road. You know, started on the road to. The thing that changed everything for me once I knew, because here you know, even in the video, you can see in the beginning, I could still kind of move. And then we stopped recording when it got really bad, right? It started this kind of almost like a science experiment, like, hey, what's going on? You know, oh, you can't move so much. But after a couple of weeks turned into a month, it was like, wait, what's, you know? And it was really, I just started to kind of surrender to this idea of this person that I was. And the thing that really changed or gave me this hope was I was in a hospital for about a week and probably about 3 or 4 days. And I had a neurologist and he said, listen, I don't know what this is, right? And he says, but stand up. And I'm like, dude, I can't stand. And he's like, oh no, go ahead, stand up. And this guy was probably about 130 pounds. And he said, listen, I'll catch you if you fall, right? So I stand up, and of course, I go down, smash my head on this heater thing, crack my head open. And I'm laying on the floor, and I'm like, nice catch, you know? I mean, seriously. But the look in his face, it was not good. And he was not expecting that. And I knew I'm in trouble here, you know? And he came back a couple days later, and he said, listen, we can't treat you here. We don't know what this is. I think this is a very serious form of MS. So I get to Jefferson in Philadelphia, and I arrive by ambulance at like 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. I know it, you know, written in the memory banks, you know. And this woman came in, and I swear she was in her early 20s, white lab coat, 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night. And she came in and she said, you have Guillain-Barré, and we treat it like the cold here. You're going to be fine. And she got up and she left the room. I never saw her again. But those words just kept circling in my head, along with all the fear, along with everything else, you know. And I really had to learn to control this when I couldn't control any of this. I had to, this was my hope, right? So I had these pictures that were on a wall, and one at the corner was of me skiing, and that is the picture in the beginning of the video of me in Alta, which is in Utah, my favorite place, which I was there not too long ago before this all happened. And I would just stare at that picture, and I would feel it. I would really get good at feeling what it felt like to be standing there. I remembered it, and I could feel wind, I could feel the sun, I could feel all of it, and could close my eyes and then picture it, and then open them, and then close them, and I just kept doing that over and over again. And there was a bunch of pictures of me dancing at weddings, all kinds of stuff, and I just locked in on that. And I just let go of everything else, and didn't have much to do, but, you know, I mean, I couldn't move. So there's not a whole lot for me to do except lay in that bed and stare at that picture. So it got worse. It got worse. And I had to surrender more and surrender more. And then eventually it just started to come back. I could start to feel, I would have my little wins, as I would call them, you know, and then it was just, it really completely changed my life, because I realized probably about a month in, wait, I asked for this. I asked for this. So if I asked for this and I could make this happen, I mean, to this extent, to where it takes 5 people to get me to walk, then I can do the other thing. I can create a new person. I can recreate myself into a person that I am supposed to be. And that's really what happened. I mean, you know, and along the road, you get knocked off the wagon, so to speak. And it's been a long road for me, 20 years. And really this self-development thing, I've gone through a lot of different things. And probably the biggest story, because that was all about healing me, but in 2012, it came back as the reminder, like, nope, you're falling back in, we need the reminder again. And I was walking down a beach with my best friend and his daughter, who was 7, my daughter, who was 7, and my son, who was 9, and the beach collapsed, and we were taken out into the ocean. And I managed to get back to the beach with my daughter, and it was an inlet, so it was kind of like a river. And I watched him drown. I watched him take his last breath. And in the moment of that happening, I was seeing it as 2 different people. I was seeing it as Scott, the tragedy, this is my fault, all of that. And then I saw it as something more. I saw him go home. And it wasn't a death, it was a birth. It was beautiful. And I really had to wrestle with that for probably 4 years, went through a lot of survivor's guilt, that whole road. And that is just, I mean, you talk about torture. I tortured myself. And every night I would go just lay awake at night and beg him to come to forgive me. You know, just forgive me, dude. This is, I need you to tell me, I need you to come to me and to let me go. And I started going to workshops, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and immediately I knew something was calling me. And I think it was my second one, and he came. And it was just this voice I heard. It was, it's never been me, it's always been you, because I am you. So the only person you need to forgive is yourself. And in that second, it was gone. It just absolutely gone. Off my, I had all this weight on my shoulders and it was gone. And that's when I knew, okay, you have to do this. You have to go down this road. You have to really find out who you are, because you are not this identity. There's something bigger. And I promised him that I would be great. I would live a life for both of us, and I would help whoever I could help to see this and really share the story of both of our stories to help people realize what they are capable of, what they can, how they can heal themselves. Maybe it's not the cancer, maybe it's not, the depression, maybe it's not the anxiety, maybe those things are there to get us to wake up, to really see what is inside us that is holding us hostage in our minds. It's just thoughts and feelings, and how can we get out of here and get into here? I love the beginning, and I'm telling you, in the heart coherence you did in the beginning of the call, it was like, I really started to go. Like, I say, I'll go out, right? And it's almost like, and I always try to say like, okay, so I go out. So what does that mean? It really is a psychedelic experience to me. It's like I am becoming something else. I'm becoming all of it. Absolutely all of it. When I laid in that bed, there was a night where I woke up and this voice spoke to me. It talked to me. And I didn't know if it was God, the universe. I didn't know what it was. But it said, what if your eyes were not looking out into a world that you're looking in? That you're looking at, that you exist in. What if your eyes aren't looking at that? What if all of that is just simply in your mind and your eyes are opening this way? They're opening into your mind. And all that you see is just a reflection of what is in your mind. And that's what I use to heal that. And that's what I use to heal, the trauma, the guilt, the tragedy, all of that. And really that's my message, is to get people to say, to really try to look at that. How do I know that your color blue, Kyle, is my color blue? How do I know we see the same thing? I don't see through your eyes. So what if we can change the thoughts? What if we can change our energy? What if we can change our frequency to allow the things that we really want to show up? How can we do that, And really that's become the passion. That's really become the passion of what I do. And, Simon, who's on this call, and of course my beautiful wife, Em, we got together, and because we all met at Dr. Joe retreat, and Em and I were just talking about this the other day. I remember it was at an event, I was laying on the floor in a meditation, and my heart exploded. And I never felt anything like that ever. It was like an atomic bomb. It just literally exploded. And I don't even know how to begin. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have had that experience. But I became that person. I became not the person, I became that energy. I became that frequency. And I hit it like I was like, whoa, what? I am the God. I am the miracle here. And right after that, M popped into my life, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been thinking. This is what I've been wanting for the last 10 years, is this person. And she's standing right in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, I built her. I put her together. I would take an idea of this is what I want. And I was in a marriage, long-term marriage, the kids, the white picket fence, the house, the cars, the boat, all the things, miserable, just fucking miserable, just angry, just disconnected, all the things. And I found it. I just found that feeling, that love inside this thing, you know? And she showed up. And we were talking about the other day, the amount of things that lined up for us to meet are just staggering. Here is this boy from just north of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a contractor of a multi-million-dollar company, you know, in this 30-year relationship with the kids and all this, and this woman who lives up a dirt road in Kellogg, Idaho, where there is not even, I don't even think there's a stop sign, let alone a traffic light. And somehow we collide, and I will tell you, it is the greatest love story of all time. It is just, who we are together is just unfucking believable. And the love that we have shared, and just, again, thinking like, what if I didn't do any of one of these things? What if I didn't do one of those things? It would have never happened. So obviously I was guided, but I was guided by my heart. I was out of my head into my heart, you know? And yeah, so that's really kind of where we are now, and really bringing people to the possibility of who they are. And we started this, I would say a coaching course. In the beginning, it was not that. It was Simon basically coming up and saying, hey, you know, we've helped each other. Maybe we should see if we can get a group of people and see if we can help them understand these theories, understand this, and move into this energy. Because we would go to these workshops, and then we would come back, and a week later, we were back into the old person that we were, right? We always would do that. So how can we stay in? So we started building this little community. And then, you know, I guess a year and a half has gone by, and we created it. It morphed into this course, or, you know, mastermind, or whatever you want to call it. It's not, it's a movement. It's called Beyond Limits. And it's just a place where you find out who you are. It's whatever that school is that Harry Potter goes to, I think that's what we're starting to go to. I think Harry Potter has kind of opened our head, and believing that we maybe are these things, that we're everything, that you're just looking inside your mind. And how do you know that we're seeing each other for who we are? You know, we're just, maybe we're experiencing something totally different, you know, at the same time, because we're dimensional beings, you know. And it really is amazing though, watching, and we get so inspired, and we get so, we just fall in love with the people. And, you know, there's some that are on here now, and it's amazing to watch them, and it inspires us to go further, to really reach, to get out of your head and into your heart. I mean, that's really what we do. It's about just getting into your heart and letting things happen for you. Because that's the thing I realized between the beach and the bed, the two B's, that it really was taking those and making them the moment that transformed my life. So if it took that to get me to where I am, to be the person that I am, to have the life that I live, well, then they were pretty fucking good moments. I mean, they, in a traditional sense, it wasn't ideal. I mean, I wouldn't want to go back there, but if it got me to where I am, I would do it over. I would do it over. because now I know, I mean, just being a part of that tragedy, there is no death. It's just all birth. It's our limited minds of trying to hang on to something, of trying to explain something that we have not experienced. But maybe we've experienced it thousands of times, and maybe we're dying every day. Maybe we're dying every day. Maybe every day we go into a different, into a different possibility as we grow. We just think it's life, So, yeah, so I guess that's my little story there.
Thank you, Scott. That was fantastic, and you're clearly the man.
Thank you, brother. I
look
appreciate
forward
that.
I look forward to joining up in some of those other groups and just kind of seeing what it's all about. Could you the one thing I didn't hear you mention too much about was your book. Before I open it up for questions from the group, could you just tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, my book is called Finding Ugly,
Yeah.
and it basically, it's transforming your worst moment into your greatest gift. And, it really is about that. It's all to look at, really looking at life in a different way, and to really believe that it is all just inside you. It's all here. It's all here. You're just experiencing what you are feeding this. So if you're feeding this lack, if you're feeding this anger, frustration, if you're feeding this, depressive thoughts, then that is what you're going to see, because your mind is just a mirror for your thoughts. So it really is about raising energy. And how do you do that? And that's what we do in our courses, right? We teach people how to raise their energy with breath work and what we call freedom activation, Simon's part, which is really disconnecting from, all of the thoughts that run through our mind, because we're just addicts at the end of the day. We're all addicts, whether, people have gone, addicted to alcohol, drugs, you're addicted to your thoughts. I mean, that's the worst of all, So really, that's what the book is really about, opening the door to really ask the question. And it really is just asking the question, what if you are all of it? What if you are God? What if you are the miracle? Because listen, I was disconnected from that, right? I couldn't do this. I would see my dad walk into my hospital room and complain about something. And I'd be sitting there because I really couldn't talk too well. And I'd be going in my head like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I am laying here. I am shitting and pissing in this bed. And you're complaining about the neighbor? I mean, really? And I'm like, I can't do that. What is it that I am disconnected from, that you are walking in and out of this room? I can't do that. And yet every one of us can get up and walk from here to there, or move our hands, or speak. It's a miracle that we can do that. So maybe we are the God. Maybe we're praying to this thing that really is just you. And maybe the God is your heart. Maybe that's it. And maybe that's all we need to do, is just to get into that. So whatever way we need to do it, we just need to do it, because that's where the healing is. That's where the healing is. And all these modalities, all these things that are coming to us, especially in 2020, people look at 2020, right, as the great shit show. Maybe it's the Great Awakening. And I think a lot of us here are really on that path. I really do believe that this is the start. This is the awakening of where we are. And that's really kind of where the book is about. And why, I'll give a little spoiler. The name of the book is Finding Ugly. And the moment in that meditation where my best friend came to me, he walked into me and he said those words, I realized that it was never him that I was looking for the forgiveness from. And we were both very successful. The families, the businesses, and two, okay looking guys. And we called each other ugly. He would call me, hey, ugly, what's up? And that was our little inside joke. And we would call each other ugly forever. That was our name for each other. And I just realized I was looking for the wrong ugly. It wasn't him. I was looking for me. And that's why the book is called Finding Ugly, because it really was thinking I was looking for him, and it wasn't. I was looking for me. And it's just, stepping into that and trying to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be, right? And to connect with people just like my brother Kyle here, and, you know, to really start to empower people and to show them, man, it's just so much is possible if you can just get out of this prison. If we can just get out of this and get into our heart, man, wow, it's just, it's not life changing, it's universe changing, it's dimensional changing. And that's where it starts. It's all right there. You got all the ingredients, everything is in you.
Thank you, man. That was such a powerful message, you know. The darkness in your dark is where you can find your light. I love it, man. And it's a reminder just to keep going into that space and shining light on it all, you know. Find your ugly. I've never heard anyone say it like that, but I absolutely love it, man. So I'm excited to read your book. Somebody just asked, where can we find your book?
My book is on Amazon, and I guess, see, this is the power that I have. All I need to do is look to the corner, and my beautiful wife is there, and I can say, honey, can you put the link in the description or somewhere, and it magically shows up. I'm that powerful. I can do these things. So, yeah, it's on Amazon, and it's a really quick read. I actually spoke it into my phone. I'm a very in-depth writer. So nice. It's just me talking.
Cool.
So
we had another question. Another question came up. What was the diagnosis that caused the paralysis?
I had a very rare autoimmune disease, which is called Guillain-Barré, GBS for short. And it has all different variables to it. Some people just get it in a hand. Some people just get it maybe in their face, or their legs become weaker. Where I got the bonus plan, I got the full blown out, whole deal. So, but autoimmune is key because, nobody really knows how these autoimmune diseases start. And it starts here. It starts in the mind. I'm proof of that. For months, all I kept thinking of, I just want to go home and I just want to go to bed and I want all this to go away. Well, I went home, I went to bed, I didn't get out of the bed, and all those things went away because I couldn't even think about them. All I wanted to do was do one thing, walk. That's it. That was my goal, to walk, to be able to, look at myself in the mirror and not see this creature that had no expression, no nothing. I just wanted to be a human again. I wanted to have that experience. I wanted to get out of this, 10 by 12 room and live a life again, to see my son who was, a year old. I didn't even get to see him for a lot of it because I didn't want him to see me. It was scary to see me because it's just a dead body, really. So.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like the mind almost can eat itself, And,
it did.
Wild. Well, so at this point, what we do is we open it up for anybody that has any questions. You can either raise your virtual hand and I'll call on you, or just your physical hand, and I'll unmute you. So if anyone has any questions, I see my brother Joe. Go ahead, Joe, whenever you're ready.
Scott, man, thank you so much. I've actually had the pleasure of talking with your wife on my podcast, and I got to experience your story a long time ago. I watched that video, and it crushed me then, and it crushed me this time too, man. So I'm overwhelmed, honestly, by your story and your power, and your energy towards it, and your vulnerability towards it. The way you talk about it is really empowering. It's unbelievable. And actually, my question is this: you said something about Scott, like I was Scott, and then there was something else. So do you consider Scott like the ego side of you? Is that how you would label it?
Yeah, Scott's the habit.
Scott's the habit. Okay.
Yeah.
Is And you said everybody's addicted, which I like that, because I started thinking recently myself that even you can even be addicted to just doing next to nothing. You can be addicted to being overactive. You can be addicted to drugs. You can be addicted to all these different things. Is there any method that you've seen in other people that, like, maybe you've had people in your workshops or anything like that that are maybe seem to have an addiction to their ego that is almost like their ego's like an attack, like it's heavy and it doesn't seem to want to get out of the way, because yours seemed to be that way and it got you to the place where you couldn't even move out of bed. So like, you're the person to ask this question, because if yours was so heavy it made you paralyzed. And then there's other people, like maybe like your father, coming in the room and complaining, and they're on the shorter end of this level, but to them it feels like paralysis because they can't get to that next level of their life, because that ego's like, ugh. What have you found that's been the best method to dive away from that thing, to get to, or to come to grips with it, or whatever it needed to be able to transmute it into the ability to be the best version of yourself and to be your soul self and live here?
Wow, what a great question, and so much there, just so much there. And thank you for all the kind words.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, back to the habit, Scott's the habit. And we are all, you know, Jim Carrey said it best. And, you know, he kind of put it as this: you're just playing a character. You're an actor, and you are just playing a character on a screen. So I'm an actor, and I am playing Scott in a play. And the fact of the matter is, I am so good, I am such a good actor that I forgot that I am something else other than the character that I'm playing. And, you know, that life is basically, you know, kind of written out in the script of the movie, right? Scott's life is basically written out in the script, because that we are the writer of that script in our first 7 years, first 10 years, first 12 years of life. Everything that we experienced, everything that Scott experienced, you know, being that little kid, which people would view as a very difficult childhood, which we all have our stories. We all have our stories. So in touching with the hardest thing about what I do is I know what is possible. I know what is possible for people. And when I get on the phone with them, there are a lot of people that I just know, you know what, I just can't. I'm not going to be able to reach her. I'm not going to be able to reach him, because he is so there. He is so trapped in this prison of his mind. He can't even begin to look out, right? And I'll be honest, I think the ones that are most affected, that are affected by this and the power of this are the people that don't have the story like I had, didn't have to live through the tragedy, didn't have to live through the paralysis, because what that gave me was the surrender to know, listen, man, I got to do something here, because this is not working out for me. I mean, right down the road, every single thing. I mean, something has to be done if you're laying in a bed and you're unable to move, right? You have to reboot the computer. But you can work on an infected computer every single day. It gets, you know, you have to go through different shortcuts to, you know, try to get around the virus and all that, but it always affects you. So honestly, when people come to us and they're at their bottom, when they're broken, when they're hopeless, that's when I know they'll have the strength to move, because they have to surrender to what this is. It's the everyday that takes us down. You know, and you said really perfectly, we're all addicted to something. But the reason why, and I talking to people that have had, you know, drug problems or addicted to even heroin or, you know, some major, you know, opioids and all that, I really believe they become addicted to that because they just want an escape. They want an escape from the society that we live in and an escape from their own mind. They just don't fit. And again, if it takes you down to the point to where it's a life or death, then that's where it can happen. That's where you can let go of who you are, because you're just not working, right? So it really is about the desire of wanting to reach what you want. You know, we can manifest everything, right? That's what I'm a great manifester. I will tell you, I built my wife, Em, I built her. She'll say the same thing to me. I literally put her together with, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And my God, wouldn't it be great if I had that, and if I had that, and if I had that, and if I had that? Wouldn't it be wonderful if she made me feel like this, and like this, and like this, and like this? What would that feel like if I had this person that made me feel like this, and like this, and like this, and like this? What if I was able to travel and go to this place like this, this, and this? And then suddenly I'm starting to fill my heart up with all this possibility, right? So then that takes the road, right? That becomes the road that I'm driving down, instead of, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I don't have enough money. I'm stuck in this relationship. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. Because I'm numb. And again, I think where we are in this world right now, man, it can't get any better. This is fantastic, because it is showing you, you know, what we are living in. We are living in a world of fear. That's it. And, you know, M came up with the line, love over fear. And it really is just that. It really comes down to just being love over fear of anything. Because when you really start to delve into the fear, and that's what we do. That's what we do in our course. We really start to look at the fear. Okay, what are we scared of? And you realize it's just a shadow. There's nothing there. It's just this threat that's been chasing you, but you've never been turned around to it. You've never faced it because you were so scared to. You're so scared to. So we turn you around. We turn you around and we say, listen, you are not Scott. You are not Simon. You are not Emily. You're something greater than that. Because here is the proof. Here is the proof, right? Scott's not doing this. Scott's not doing this. Scott's not pumping his blood through 12,000 miles of veins and artery. So who's doing it? Because I'm directly connected to it, right? Cells are dying. All the science is the proof, and gets us to the point of where we are now, where, okay, if the science is right, then maybe I am greater. Maybe I am the God. And it is about stepping into that. And then you know what happens? It's the craziest thing. You don't need the science. You don't need any of it, because you realize it's all just a fucking illusion to get me. So my mind does its job to keep me as an identity, as an ego, as the habit, because that's home. That's home. We have seen it. Everybody knows somebody that has married, either a woman that has married their father. Why? Because you were so addicted to the emotion of growing up with your father. He made you feel small. He made you feel unappreciated. He made you feel, right? So we have this and we don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want to have that feeling. But what do? We marry somebody that makes us feel that way. Why? Because it's familiar. It's home. All my life, and it's kind of funny, all my life I did not want to walk down the stairs like my dad. That was a big thing for me. He would do this thing like, coming down the stairs. And I'd be like, what? Why do you have, can't you do this? Can't you have a rhythm? I mean, seriously, dude? You know, and one day, my son said to me, why do you walk down the stairs like that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You do this. I became the habit. I became my dad. Because the thought was there and I built on it, right? We are a freaking anomaly. We are amazing. We really are. So you might as well go for the good shit and leave the bad shit back there. Because it's all just experience in the end, right? It's all just experience. We just have to get clear on what we want to experience. And it's simple. We don't want to experience pain. We just want to experience anything that's love. Love for travel, love for a partner, love for the ocean, love for a coffee, whatever. That's all we want. That's all we want. So I hope I answered the question. I know it was very breathy and long, but.
That was better than I could have ever imagined a million times. I'm telling you, the one thing that you said that really flipped the switch for me too is playing the character and like playing the movie and playing the script. Because when you really think about yourself as a character and being stuck in a character, and then think about people who are actually actors and have become stuck in their character, like Jim Carrey when he did Andy Kaufman, he became that person and he couldn't shake himself out of it. And he created a mess of turmoil behind him by burning bridges and being very mean and rude to people. But he couldn't break himself out of the character. What if we, each one of us who have this wake of trash behind us, just can't break character? And like, it's like amazing how you were forced to break character. I'm just blown away, man. I'm so grateful for the fact that you've been able to go through that and then tell us all how to get out of it before we have to go through what you went through. So thank you for being the lighthouse, man. And amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Em. Can you hear me? Thank you, Scott. You're awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very, very awesome. Very sweet. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Joe. We had not a question, but a comment come in. It said, "Thank you, Scott." It's from Laura. She said, "My dad lives with CIDP, a chronic version of GBS, and I think of it in him in a new way. You make me want to ask him new questions and share with him my work in, as you say, getting out of what you can, what can be my prison, my mind / my thoughts." So it seems like you've inspired Laura, which is incredible.
Love that. Yeah.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions? There's a lot of people here, so awesome, Sean. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, thank you so much for your share, Scott. That was so powerful and inspirational, and those adjectives are really understatements. And it's clear that you live from the place of the heart. And you know, I have a morning routine and a daily routine where I do these activities like breath work and cold showers and heart coherence that have had a profound effect on my life. I'm just wondering what you do on a daily basis, any routines that you have to continuously surrender and live from the place of the heart. Like, what does a day in your life look like?
Oh, wow. We are really, I hate to use the word lucky, but we are really, really lucky. Wow. I mean, I'm a big meditator, but it's strange. You know, people will come to me and they'll say, well, you know, they're trying to get over something, right? Get over something. And that's the enemy, whatever that is, whether it's cancer, addiction, whatever that is, right? That's the enemy. And they'll tell me, well, so I get up at 6, I do this meditation for 45 minutes, and then I go through my day, and then at nighttime, I do this meditation, and I do that at 6:32. And it's just like, well, no, you got it all wrong here. You have to drop this idea of who you are. You have to step into the field, right? And that doesn't need to necessarily be a meditation. My life is kind of a meditation. I still have to deal with this asshole. I do. Every day, I got to deal. I mean, honest to God, you could ask my wife. He's powerful. He is a powerful thought process. So I have to constantly work in getting into my heart. The thing that gets me into my heart is, I don't know if you can see it behind me, but there is a boat out there that my wife and I go out pretty much every day. And we just love beauty. Beauty of the water, beauty of sunsets. You know, I talk about putting on the glasses that you want to put on to see what you want to see. You know, you can put on like a cheap pair of sunglasses and you'll see some colors. You put on an expensive pair of Maui Jims or something, everything becomes vibrant. And I think when you connect to that place in your heart, that's what happens, right? You become vibrant. Food tastes better. You see things differently. Other things don't affect you so much. So in the long and short of it, I just try to be that. I try to be that. And I'll be honest, I love what I do. I mean, I still have a construction company that I've had to kind of let go of because it's Scott. And it was a very long and arduous task to disconnect from that as much as I have. I still am involved, but not as much. I have trust people to do what I did. But in now being in front of, on a screen like this, people that are willing to say, I'm ready to put it down. I'm ready to put the pain down. I'm ready to put the trauma down. I'm ready to put the identity, the ego down. That gets me in my heart every single time. And to see people, what we do in our courses, we go to everybody on the screen and we say, you know, M's thing is, you know, share us the wins. We want to hear the wins. And what are you struggling with? And it's when somebody they just get it. They just like, oh my God, this really is all just me, isn't it? And that's it. That's what does it for me every time, because they see my vision. They see our vision. They see what we see. And it's just so freaking beautiful to witness somebody wake up. And it's the beginning of the waking up, right? It's the beginning of that. And watching them go through and to really see it, it's just amazing. And of course, you know, we talk about it all the time. The three of us are, you know, on the phone constantly and messaging each other. And to just be in this space of transformation and to watching what's happening out there in this world, this reality that I don't know if it exists or not. I don't know if the store I was at yesterday exists. How do I know? I'm not there. I can't see it, smell it, taste it. I can't. I'm not there. So how do I know it even exists? So I'll just stay in my little paradise here and really make the decisions and the moves to be in that space that makes you feel incredible. And if it makes you feel good, it's going to make you feel better the next day. And it's going to make you feel better even the next day, because you're moving into a space of, when people are strapped to a job that they hate, why? It's about stepping against. And I think that's what puts me in my heart every day, is knowing all the things I had to do. I had to spend a lot of money, a lot of time in order to get here. And you don't need to do that. You just need to make the decision to live the life of the universe, the God, and not the habit, the voice.
And I will add that he does wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning every morning and does breath work and meditation almost every day. He forgot to say that part.
Breath work's a big deal for me. Breath work's a big deal because breath work really, it's all kind of every day getting in the gym and building muscle, right? You're building a muscle in your heart and connecting to, and breath work really has become this, like I said earlier, it really gets me out into this, like a psychedelic experience now. I just become so outside of my body, and my body wants to hold me in, and that's the fear. The body wants to hold me in, and it's just relinquishing that fear and letting go and moving further into it. So breath work is key. And I have to say that because she's the breath queen, and that's what she teaches. And if I didn't say that, I'd be in big trouble. So, as she reminded everyone.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Sean, for that question. Has it been your experience, Scott, that when you do take that leap of faith into the place that your heart is just full, that the universe will kind of support you in that jump?
You're it.
Yeah.
You are it. You're
Yeah.
that power. You are that strength. It's not, when people pray to a God, they believe they're praying to something outside of them. It's not outside of them. It's in you. I mean, blood is pumping through your body, and the body is yours. All these cells are dying and being replaced by the second. Those cells are you. They're all you. So it's not this thing that lives outside of it, you are begging for its attention and grace. Please shine on me today. It's you. It's all just you. And you are that power. And again, I'm proof of that. And I think it's happening more and more and more and more. People are connecting and just really getting it. One of the greatest moments for Simon and I is he said, you know what? He said, I just got it. It really is just all me. It really is awesome. And it's just like, well, yeah, you haven't seen that? Like, you don't know that? We're all just energy. We're all just energy. And really, really quick, I'll tell a real quick story. In a meditation, and this was the same workshop as when Brad, my best friend, came to me. First meditation, first minute in, not even a minute. I mean, close my eyes, I'm gone. I'm out into basically what's behind you, Kyle, blackness, right? And this little ball of light comes down. And I talk about this in the book. This little ball of light comes down and just sits there, like this perfect circle of energy, of light. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And all of a sudden, my grandmother's face shows up, right? In this ball of energy. And I'm like, oh my God, that's it. All these years, for the last 20 years, I've been reliving what this voice told me, right? My higher self, my future self told me, listen, it's not out there, it's in here, it's in here. And I would think, okay, that's great. I can see, I know the double slit experiment, right? I know we were assembling particles. I know we were putting this all together. I know that wall is just an illusion of a wall. I know the TV is just an illusion of a TV. There isn't a whole lot in this room, so I know I created this. But what are the people that walk in and out? What are they? You're telling me that they don't exist? And I would talk to that voice in those years. And when I hit that energy, when I got into that meditation, into that frequency, that's when it came. And I realized in a second, oh my God, we're just using energy. We are all just energy, little balls of light. And boom, my grandmother shows up and I'm like, oh my God, it's just my interpretation of what my grandmother would be. And then she like takes me and says, okay, let's go. And then through this meditation, I'm going up and I am going past these other balls of light. And then all of a sudden they would turn into a face of, one was my niece that died when she was 19. I would just see her face. Another one was a voice of a friend of mine that just passed. And I could hear her like screaming, "Arr!" Like that's what, you know, apparently we don't call each other, you know, the same name. We all have nicknames for each other. And I could feel them. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what it is. We're just energy. So when I say that I built him, I built her. I basically just took this energy and I took my desire and I just put the two over top of each other. And she showed up. And so much proof of that. But you know what is really, really crazy? Guillain-Barré is, especially when I had it, really, really rare. Really, really rare. Her grandmother had it. So my wife's grandmother basically died of Guillain-Barré. And now here I am, this person, you know, and I've told that story so many damn times and people are like, wait, what is it? What is it? And oh my God, and my grandmother had that. So that's it. If you just think of all the people that are in your life, and if you think either they're there for you or they're there as a pain in the ass in your life that make you miserable, right? But yet we think we're tied to them. We think we owe them. And see, that's the decision. That's the decision. Jack Canfield said it so great when he said, you know, I love my mother. I don't like who she is, but I love my mother. And it's okay to see her twice a year. It's okay to see her twice a year. And that's what I live by. So my group is very small. I've had to leave a lot of people because they're not energetically connected to me anymore. And I'm not going down there. I'm not going back down into the cave. I had to climb all these freaking ladders to get where I am. I'm not coming down there. I'll yell to you. I'll throw a rope down and say, here you go. You're going to have to climb. I'll help you climb. I will yell to you. I will tell you what's up here. all day long, I will do that. But I cannot be your legs. I cannot be your arm. You're going to have to get over your fear of letting go. And that is really what we are doing right now. All of us, we have to let go. We just have to let go of this belief of we are this identity, we are this ego, we are this habit. And when we do, that's when the magic can show up. It's simple. It's a very simple formula. You're it. Look back into your mind, through your eyes, and see what's there. If you don't like it, change it. Change it. That's how you get into the heart. That's how you do it. So I hope I answered the question. I get a little long.
Oh man, yeah. Thank you so much for that powerful reminder. It's so true, man. And I'm going to move forward with a lot of incredible energy today because of you.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. I can tell everyone's all jacked up. This is going to be a good day for everyone in this group. So
I love it.
what we do now, because that's unfortunately all we have time for, is we dedicate the energy of the meeting to basically all those awakening at this time. So we'll do a quick little prayer. If everyone can just close your eyes. So we dedicate the merit of this meeting to all those awakening at this precious time. May our efforts to better ourselves help shift the planetary consciousness from fear into love. May this energy ripple out into the world and awaken those with closed hearts, illuminate closed minds, and inspire all to live within the presence of compassion and generosity. So thank you, Scott, for today, man. That was fantastic.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's awesome.
I tell you, my brother, I love you, man. I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope we continue to link up. And now that we've had Em and Scott, we're going to have to seek out this Simon man who seems to be the third leg. Is that what it is?
He's the proper one.
Ah, nice.
He's the proper one. He
Awesome.
is my man.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great day. And this was recorded, so I'll send it to you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, baby. Much love, fam. I love you all. Thank you, Scott. You guys are awesome. This is unbelievable. Scott, M, Simon, you guys are
Thank you.
Part
You
of the
guys are
third
doing
wave.
awesome work. You
Yeah,
guys are doing
seriously.
amazing work.
That's it.
Thank you.
Let's build the
Likewise,
community. That's what we got to
Third
do.
wave.
Great stuff.
We
Thank
gotta-
you so much for having me.
Oh, that
Love
was
y'all.
a pleasure, man. Thank you, everybody. And my mom sent me a message that said, he is so cool. So she's on it.
There you go.
She loves you. Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Love you.